entire life, I felt like I've been continuing someone else's story. In 2006, my sister Yuktha passed away in a car accident. Exactly 1 year and 3 days later, I was born and given the name Navya, a Sanskrit word that means young and new beginnings. While it holds a beautiful meaning, the echoes of her presence were felt in just my name alone, consuming me and taking over my being well before I even learned what the word identity meant. As I struggled under the weight of her past, I would ask myself questions like, would I even be here if she didn't die? And do my parents love me as much as they loved her? I felt like I was living in the pages of a book Yuktha left behind. My life felt like a constant comparison, a narrative I didn't choose. My earliest memory of feeling like her was when I was around 6 years old, and the owner of our local Indian grocery store greeted me and my mom with a smile and said to me, "Oh, Yuktha, you've grown so much." In the moment, I brushed it off and went about my day. But during the car ride home, I asked my mom why he said Yuktha instead of Navya. My mom's explanation, attributed to the older gentleman's forgetfulness, marked the beginning of my hyper-awareness of anything and everything that connected me to her. I believe the core of your identity is dynamic and stems from your experiences and how you cope with them. From the ages 5 through 10, I thought my identity as a daughter and a sister was simply being a placeholder, a replacement that was good, but not good enough. This was because I experienced the constant comparison, internalized it, and let it shape who I thought I was supposed to be. Now in my family, I'm just Navya, not a replacement, not an unfinished project, just Navya. So what steps did I take to understand my place in my family and life as a whole? The first step was understanding that even if I try all the different types of hairstyles the world has to offer, or all of the different variations of makeup social media has created, I will never seem authentic to other people because I am not authentic to myself. In my family, Yuktha was a fairly shy and reserved kid. I, on the other hand, am not. However, I didn't realize this until later because all of the internalized feelings bred by the constant comparison turned me into a glass half full, with the extra space being filled by a personality I thought I was supposed to have. In other words, I pushed away my extrovertedness to appear more like an introvert, because in my mind, people around me wanted me to act that way. This revelation took place when I went to middle school. I was an awkward preteen surrounded by other awkward preteens who thought we were all superior because we graduated elementary school. This was where I joined my first school orchestra, where I was placed in the 8th grade orchestra as an 11-year-old based on the qualities our director saw in me. In this orchestra, I became the section leader, which basically means that you have to sit in the part of the orchestra that is most visible to the audience besides the conductor. In this position, I was front and center. And I thought the entire performance of our section depended on me, which is not true, by the way, but that's how I felt. What's interesting about this is the fact that I liked it. I enjoyed being in the front, being relied upon, and showing off my skills to my parents sitting in the audience. Later on, I became the concert master. And after my last middle school concert, I was showered with praise from my family and peers for doing such a great job at leading our orchestra. When my parents complimented me, I felt a sense of true pride for the first time in my life. Pride in my ability to lead, pride as a musician, but most importantly, pride in my character. Your typical introvert wouldn't want an audience full of eyes observing her, but I did. This led to a mild identity crisis. I mean, on one hand, I liked being dependable and recognized for my talent, but on the other, this desire was the exact opposite of who I've been for the past 13 years. This leads me to my next step. Accepting the contrast between who I thought I should be and who I truly am. We as a society are constantly told how to act, how to think, and how to feel. And we go along with it because those expectations are what's deemed socially acceptable. I'm sure every single one of you here tonight, at some point, has felt insecure, inadequate, or in no control of your life based on other people's perceptions of you or the way your world has told you to behave. So after dealing with the conflicting feelings and constant comparison for a few years, I did what any normal person would do and turned to the Myers-Briggs type indicator to tell me how to act. The Myers-Briggs type indicator, more commonly known as the MBTI, is a personality test that condenses one's personality into one of 16 distinct types, each characterized by 4 letters, with the most notable ones being E for extrovert and I for introvert. The issue with tests like the MBTI is that oftentimes they aren't an accurate representation of who the test taker actually is. In fact, research from psychology writer Annie Murphy-Paul shows that nearly 75% of test takers acquire a different personality type when tested again. Another reason why I believe your identity is dynamic and ever-changing. I am a part of this statistic. I started off as an INFP. Then 2 weeks later, I got ESTP. And now I'm an ENTJ. Despite these inconsistencies, some people still heavily rely on the MBTI, thinking that it'll spit out some magical secret that's going to help them learn more about themselves. But why? Most people, maybe not everyone here, loves to learn. And there's nothing more we as humans love learning and talking about more than ourselves. So when we discover that the information and resources used to learn more about ourselves is right at our fingertips, we take that opportunity. Now, this isn't to say that tests like the MBTI are inherently bad. However, when we're handed all of this shocking information about ourselves on a silver platter, it becomes hard to resist the urge to conform to those ideas. So, what exactly does all of this mean for you? Well, understanding that the expectations placed on you are leading to conformity rather than authenticity is a good place to start. If by chance you're heavily reliant on what other people think of you or information gained by tests like the MBTI, ask yourselves why. In my case, I acted like someone else because of the constant comparison and to help my family cope. It's in cases like these where we have to be a little selfish and recognize that you are not obligated to present a version of yourselves dictated by others' expectations. It's hard to figure out who you are and why you're here. But turning into someone you're not, no matter the intent, doesn't serve anyone besides the person or thing you're trying to please. And if you spend your whole life trying to act a certain way to fit a certain standard, how can you say with complete confidence that your life is truly yours? Today, I leave you with this. Life isn't fair. You didn't get to choose to be here, but you are in charge of who you are and who you want to be. So go. Get out there. Leave the expectations, the anxiety, the shame, the embarrassment. Leave all of it behind. Embrace your identity and reclaim your life. Because you have the right and you deserve to be happy. Show me, show us, show the world who you truly are. Thank you.